here. I see Nancy is here. I'm going to get started pretty much on time when it hits 4 o'clock.
Sure.
Oh, it's funny. My teenager is calling me. I'm not going to answer. He's going to be startled by that.
Hard lesson to learn.
I mean, he's home. I see the car downstairs. Let me tell him.
He's calling you from another room. I love it.
Of course he is. This is my son, Gail, who graduated from high school last weekend, the last of my graduates. So
It's great.
in his defense, he did also send me a text message earlier today and asked me, how do I know if the bag is full on the vacuum? And
That's a great question.
I had some genuine pleasure knowing that he was actually vacuuming.
Yes,
Right.
for sure.
And because this is live and we're friends, the message he wants me to get is, could I please order him tacos?
Maybe later, tell him. That's cute.
Yes, yes. It's not Taco Tuesday, but it's a special week. Bruce, will you remind me, you're calling in from Chicago, is that
That's
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's really nice to see your face. Bruce and I have
Great
had
to see you
several,
too.
yes, we've had several email conversations, and this is the first time I have seen him.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
You're devoted fans.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. We had quite a few RSVPs, and I've had quite a few emails today saying, oh my gosh, I have a meeting or I have to attend a retirement party, so I'm not sure about my timing. But it is 4 o'clock. I'm just going to give us just a little bit longer, and then I'm going to, I really am ready. And I'm excited to share with you.
Megan, where are you? Where exactly are you?
Gail, thanks for asking that, because that is a good question. I live in Madison, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Yes, and I'm in my home office. This is where I work, and I have 2 sons living at home. 3 kids have already grown and flown. Yes, yeah, where are we all from? Jess is from California. Nancy, remind me. Oh, Nancy's in Ottawa, Canada. That's right. And I know Leo and Colleen are in Maine. Bruce is in Chicago. So we've covered a good.
The waterfront.
Yes.
Yeah. And Gail, you're in Vermont.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. And Gail, did I ever share with you that I lived in Burlington, Vermont for about 5 years?
No.
Yes, I finished my undergrad at UVM. Actually.
Oh, wow. It's a great city.
Yes.
That's where I was born. My husband also.
Yeah. Yes. Well, what a beautiful group of folks here. I just want to say thank you so much. This is going to be actually quite casual. It's the first time I'm doing this, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to just go through some program news and updates, give you some fun numbers. I was translating the Ethiopian money value, which is birr, into USD so that I could give some equivalents here. And I just want you to ask questions as we go along. You can use the react, the little heart at the bottom. If you click the little caret, sorry, not the caret, the heart itself, it gives you a raise hand option. So if you wanted to ask a question, I'll see that and I'll be able just to take your questions live. I'm happy to do that. But otherwise, I'm going to get started. I'm going to be glancing a little bit at a second screen here because I have some quotes I'm going to read, and I wanted them big enough for me to actually see. So I think we can start now. I'm going to just start with with a little bit of a photo. In the area that we work, there is a holy mountain, and here I am sitting on the holy mountain, Mount Hambaricho. It's beautiful. It's quite a trip to get to the 777 steps that takes you actually to this outlook point. So I am here with colleagues, and actually the two girls who are sitting on each side of me are girls who have student sponsorships. One of the girls is now at university in the area, and the other girl is graduating 12th grade this year. So I've known these girls since they were tiny. I usually see them during one of our meetings when I'm in the field. Their names are Mihret and Meseret. And I love seeing them, and they wanted to carry water for me up the long, holy hike, at the top of which they gave me a gift, an embroidered gift. They had embroidered "I love you, Mom" on a piece of fabric for me. So it's quite lovely to have them join us. So I wanted to introduce you to the Roots Ethiopia community because the people who make this work happen, these are some of them. So these folks are the folks who are doing the work every day, right? They're on the ground making things happen, and it is everyday hard work. I love these folks. I trust them with delivering compassion and care at every moment. I am the founder and the board chair of Roots Ethiopia. I've been doing this work for 13 years. And we founded Roots Ethiopia. The origin story started during a green famine when I heard from a friend that children were dying on the countryside, and so were the elderly. And I asked my friend, "What can I do?" I asked him the very question that you would ask if you heard the story of people suffering. How can I help? And he told me, "You can help. My church will be feeding people." And that's what I did. It was so heartwarming and important for me to be part of that effort that I started to invite my friends into that. And that is how Roots Ethiopia started. It started with a season where the rains started far too late to have a good harvest. In communities where that depend on rain-fed agriculture, which is exactly where Roots Ethiopia works, this is common. The too much rain, too little rain, rain that comes too late, rain that comes too heavily, all of these things can create food insecurity. So a lot of families' energy and focus is on planting, harvesting, and then feeding their families however they can with whatever resources they have. So that's the environment we're working in. Every month I get a beautiful, we can move on to the next slide. Every month I get a beautiful report from our country director. He's the man in the brown jacket. Now you see me with my full field team. The man in the brown jacket is our country director, Mohammed. Every month, Mohammed sends me a really great report. I'm reading a quote from the last report. "This month was both busy and productive. Despite challenges related to fuel shortages, staff remained highly motivated and demonstrated excellent teamwork, commitment, and resilience." Teamwork, commitment, and resilience all required every day in the environment where we're working. The fuel shortage was related to there was no diesel fuel. It was in very, very short supply. People were parked for up to 7 days, sleeping in their vehicles. The movement of buses around the country were reduced to one or two per location, making their regular trips to move people from one place to the next. That diesel shortage has now diminished a bit. So we're really hoping that travel is easier. But Mohammed really spoke to, without even recognizing I was going to add this quote to our update. He really spoke to what it takes to be in the field with Roots Ethiopia. We have 2 women and 2 men who are our field officers. And then, of course, we have a program director and a driver. And then our administrative assistant, who is the lovely pregnant woman who makes sure the office is open and ready for anybody who needs to see us or deliver things to our office. She also makes lovely coffee. Tonight, I want to talk about 3 programs: our school improvement program, our student sponsorship program, and our self-help entrepreneur women's groups. All of them are always very exciting to me. So I'm going to start that off right now. I want to tell you about this season's school improvement project. You can advance the slide, Jess. This school improvement project is done in a place called Dalbo Etowaro. Dalbo, I'm going to just shorten it and call it Dalbo. Okay, so this school, I want to set the scene. When we arrived at this school, it's overcrowded. There aren't enough desks. Blackboards are ruined in every classroom, mostly dirt floor classrooms. No school library, no school science laboratory, and critically, we noticed no place for girls who are attending school to take care of their personal needs, particularly around menstruation. So generally, these are referred to as girls' changing rooms. They're not often, they're almost never located with the latrine because the latrines are in such poor condition that there's no privacy. So usually there's some room on the compound of the school where girls can go and rest and take care of their personal needs. So this school also did not have a girls' changing room. And this photo shows you a little bit about what a classroom looks like. Often the desks are broken, 4 or 5 children smushed together on one bench, sharing space. I'm sure elbowing each other. Some kids are sometimes sitting on the floor. But this is a very typical look at a classroom. And if you multiply this by about 40 desks, you have a classroom with about 50 children and 1 teacher, dark, crammed together. But this is the school we identified for a school improvement project. It's located in Sodo town. So Sodo is rather a big town. It's not super rural as many schools are, but the farming community that lives on the edge of Sodo has schools that they can walk to. So this is one example exactly of that school. We can go to the next slide. So here's what happened. At this school, there were over 60 new desks supplied. A classroom was renovated to a library. A classroom is being renovated right now as we speak to a hands-on science lab. A girls' changing room was created. A librarian is being recruited and trained so that they can help the students who come to the library find the resources they need and also help with literacy improvement. At Dalbo School, the school improvement project isn't a drop and go project. It's a drop the materials and invest in the humans. Investing in the humans means making sure there's a trained librarian, making sure that the girls have a place to go and take care of themselves. Helping teachers with training, especially around new curriculum standards and the kinds of things that teachers are asking for all the time. So for instance, many science teachers have never used a microscope. So you cannot drop a microscope at the school and drive away and say, hey, get those desks into the classrooms and have fun with the microscope. No, it requires learning. I have a story. One of the first schools I ever visited, we had left a microscope, and I happened to be there on the first day the teacher used it to instruct the children. And he was so embarrassed when he was finished. He came up to me afterwards and he said, I am so sorry, Mrs. Megan, but I promise you I will do better next time. This is the first time I have actually used a real microscope. I opened it for the first time yesterday. So this really impressed upon us 13 years ago that bringing new equipment and resources to a school carries a responsibility on the part of Roots Ethiopia and all of the generous donors, that these items need to be taken out of their packages, teachers instructed in their use, and then those continuous supportive visits to the school and checks on the school progress. How are they using the materials? Are the library books that are being checked out recorded in a library book? Are classrooms being inventive about using, organizing desks in groups for group teaching? Are young preschool children, are they taking their shoes off before they go into the building? And do they have a nice carpet to sit on? So these are the kinds of things that we're paying attention to. It's not just a delivery of materials. Well, one of the amazing things for any school that is part of our improvement project is that they are part also of 8th grade tutoring. We can advance the slide. 8th grade tutoring is like the gateway to high school. Let me tell you a little bit about the data. When a child reaches high school in Ethiopia, that's when we start to see the improvement in lifetime earnings, lifetime health outcomes, delayed age of marriage, delayed age of becoming parents. So this point, this 8th grade moment is critical. And when a school joins our school improvement project, we now have 32. I think Delbo is our 33rd school. We now have 33 schools in this group of improved schools. This tutoring program becomes part of their yearly tradition, event, occurrence with Roots Ethiopia. We pay teachers to come in on Saturday and teach, master teachers, and we invite children to come to tutoring. They have to make a commitment to come for 10 Saturdays. I once asked a group of girls at a school when I was visiting the tutoring, hey, where would you be if you weren't here this morning? And of course they answered, well, we'd either be at church with our parents, which they love, we would be at church, or we would be doing family chores. So they quite like being at tutoring. This is Mrs. Mekdes. She's a math teacher. And this is what she said about her school's first ever 8th grade tutoring program. I have seen a clear difference. They are more focused and more willing to participate. The program is not only improving understanding in the mathematics, but also building student confidence. So we have an intention to have more girls in tutoring than boys because girls advance in fewer numbers than boys to high school, and girls drop out in greater number than boys to high school. And so we, while the tutoring classes include boys, they are more girl focused. Usually at about 70% of the attendees are girls. So this year we had over 1,300 kids in tutoring, and over 60% of them were girls. We'll get the results in August, so stay tuned because we're really excited to hear the results. We want to know that these kids go to school. Next slide, please. These are 3 of the girls in 8th grade tutoring, and I want to read some quotes because I just love what these girls say. At Dalbo School, that's where these girls are, one of the girls, whose name is Mulu, said, "Before I was shy to ask questions, but I got more confident with so many girls in the class, and I participated and learned. I feel more prepared for my examination." The other girl, Bethlehem, these are the 2 girls on the ends. The middle girl I don't have a quote for. Bethlehem said, "Step by step, I'm starting to feel more confident in my studies and less afraid." I can't imagine better words to hear. You know, these girls don't have to tell us that they're, you know, I got this, I can do this. I mean, they're worried. In rural schools in Ethiopia, kids attend school in shifts, a morning shift for one group, an afternoon shift for the other. They know they're missing half the curriculum or trying to learn twice as much in half the time. Can you imagine attending school from 8 to noon? That's it. That's your learning day. And then the rest of the kids come because of overcrowding and not enough teachers in the afternoon. These girls know they're behind. They know they need, like, getting that confidence it's everything to these kids, right? That's something they missed in math. Mrs. Meknes is an award-winning math teacher. She's so excited to have her an opportunity to one-on-one work with these kids. And you can see how beautifully in the last slide, you know, she's right there leaning over the desk, helping them work out math problems. It is life-changing for these girls who we really hope are going to pass the 8th grade national exam and head to high school. Okay, next slide. We also work with kids in special education, and I just love this photo of a group of young men who graduated. They all graduated with like an exit business that we helped fund. So 3 of the boys got together to learn how to raise goats. And Ayasu is one of the boys. He's holding the goat in the little insert picture that I put in. And this is one of his goats had a baby. They had a baby goat. And this is what his father said. Having something of his own built his confidence, restored his hope that he could do it, and has encouraged a positive outlook for his future at home and right here in the community. So Ayasu has had this beautiful opportunity. Roots Ethiopia at his graduation provided him and his other 2 classmates with goats. The other boy's mother owns a small shop, and he's now in charge of selling water at the shop. So he got a supply of water bottles. That is his job, selling water. So these are graduates who have been in a special education classroom at one of the schools that we've improved, and they have graduated. This was a very big moment. These boys and girls, they have classmates, of course, who are girls, but these boys and girls together learned all kinds of skills. Some of them even had opportunities to join the regular classroom and participate in some of the lessons that they were prepared to participate in. But they also did basic life skill things like walk by themselves to get water at the school water spigot, take messages to other teachers, visit other classrooms, and help teach their peers about what it means to have, in this case, all 4 boys have intellectual disabilities. So some of it was helping to remove what's normally pretty terrible stigma around any kind of a disability. So having children present in the same school environment with their peers is really important for these kids. For these kids, they also get transportation to school. They come in a bajaj that we pay a driver to bring them to school, because it can be really dangerous for these kids to be on their own without an adult supervising them. And mostly that's not because the kids themselves are doing dangerous things, it's because they're being harassed. So they don't feel safe. Parents spend a lot of time helping these kids get to and from school. And so to help the parents have some independence from that responsibility, we bring the kids to and from school, which is really a great way also for the kids to get increased independence. All right. Right now we have, you can go to the next slide. We have a total of 57 children in our special education program. 20 of them are at our newly built and opened Center for Children with Disabilities. This was a huge project that is beautifully successful. If you look at the ratio of teachers to kids, it's amazing. This is a safe, loving, dedicated space to children with disabilities. It's also shares, it's right next door to another school where we work. And at that school, the kids can literally go around the corner through the gate and join classes with other students. So most of these kids have never successfully attended school for any long periods of time. And it has been so amazing for them to be in a center that's completely devoted to supportive, loving care of the children and helping the children adjust to a school environment where they feel safe, and particularly where their parents can bring them, leave them for the day, and feel confident that they'll go back to kids who've been cared for and are learning. So kids have made some really great strides in basic personal hygiene skills, emotional regulation skills, and also things like their motor skills, writing their alphabet, just kind of at the basics of bringing these kids into the education system in a really positive way. One of the mothers said to us, I'm going to read her quote, "Before Amar joined, he was socially isolated, unable to attend school, and fully dependent on me for his daily care. Since joining, he has become more social and independent, even beginning to write his name. His school attendance, I thank God, has also given me more time to care for myself and support my other children." This is a really enormous need from parents of children with disabilities, especially in the Ethiopian environment that is really full of discriminatory and unkind behavior to children with disabilities. And while there are large social campaigns that we're part of to try and really educate community members and even families themselves about disabilities, it can be really, really hard, especially for mothers who have the burden of all of that care. We can go to the next slide. If you've been following for Roots Ethiopia for a while, and because I spoke of it earlier, you know how important food is. Food is love. We know that. And every year, every student who has a student sponsorship gets corn and a small amount of cash to help sustain their families, because children, families who have enough to feed their children, keep their children in school. Here's what I don't talk about a lot, but I think it's really valuable, is the economics of this really makes sense. A child at work could never, ever earn the value of the corn, the cash, and the cooking oil. It's just the value of those things far exceeds any money that a child engaged in child labor can earn, gathering sticks and selling them for fires or cleaning out cow dung from a local field. So the economics of this is so strategic and so important. And families tell us it's a difference maker. So 3 times a year, food support for the whole family. And you can see food is love. This is a happy day every time the families get called to come to the corn shack, the corn convenience store, so to speak. That's what they're selling. And then they walk the corn next door if they want to, and they mill it. And we've hired carts to help them push it home because 100 kilos of corn is heavy and they need help getting it home. So these are kids getting their nutritional support for their whole families. So what do the kids say about this? One little girl, Mulukin, said, "This support helps me go to school. I can focus on my lessons without worrying about, do I need to go to work tomorrow?" One of the mothers said, "I have seen a positive change in my child's learning and motivation now that she knows she can stay in school all year." Makes sense, really does. Okay, we can go to the last little group of slides that I want to show you, and I'm right on time. I'm so excited. Our self-help groups. I want to share with you today, it's the first time I'm really talking about this. We've just started 5 new groups. One of the stories I love about this, so 100 women showed up. 100 women were invited to come and learn about what it means to join a self-help group. And apparently, I heard that a rumor went on around the community that if you go, they're just going to give you money. You're going to get money and you can start your business. So we had women everywhere waiting. I'm more than 100 women. I would like money too to start my business. Somehow this rumor got some legs. And I saw Leo laugh because I know that he understands this reality. Leo's been to Ethiopia many times. A self-help group is not a handout. It is hard work. You have to show up for your business training. You have to go to the bank with your group and everybody gets a bank book. You have to show up every week at your meeting and put a small amount of savings into your own savings account and a small amount of savings into the group savings account. And then you have to be part of the training week in and week out. There is no, "I'm going to hand you money. The nonprofit is in town. Go and get your money, folks." No. This is a very rural community. This model, the self-help model that we use, is not very familiar to the women, but it's a very needy community. And we're so excited to have 100 women here in the Lainu Kabele to start their businesses. It potentially can transform this community. One of the mothers said, her name is Aster, "We are very happy to become members of a self-help group. We're learning how to save regularly, how to support one another, and how to plan for tomorrow." One of the women told me once in a meeting, she said, "I used to drink 4 cups of coffee a day, and now I drink 3. And the money I would spend on the other 2, I put in my savings." Very simple principles, but clearly transformational. Let me tell you how transformational it is. Here are the numbers that I was cracking. We can go to the next slide. Okay, over the life of our self-help groups, over $280,000 has been saved by these groups. Now we have 81 plus 5 more. Now we have a total of 86 groups. So we're talking, I did the math for 81 since 5 are brand new and don't have a savings yet. $172 is being saved per woman over the course of their she group participation. That's about $3,452 per group. Whoa. And this year, in the first 3 months of the year alone, $1,500 was saved amongst all these groups. I don't know how to tell you how significant that savings is, just if we were to discuss the economy of rural Ethiopia and particularly available cash. But for women to have that kind of money is truly a word I don't use often is transformative. And I want to kind of end my presentation here with one of my favorite moments ever. Next slide, if we could. I was at this she group gathering, and that's me speaking in the pink shirt and my dress at the table with my fellow board member Konjit, who is translating, and the man standing next to me is our field manager. So I was sharing words of encouragement, and a woman raised her hand. She stood up. She said, "I want to tell you a story." And I love it when moms and women tell me stories because they're always fantastic. And she said, "Every day I would watch my husband come home through the door. I would watch his hand, hoping he would put it in his pocket and pull it out and hand me just a tiny bit of money so that I could buy food for the children." And then she got this big smile on her face. She stood really proudly, and she said, "I don't look anymore for his pocket because I have my own pocket." Right? One of the best quotes I have ever heard, and I get chills telling it to you because every woman in that group nodded their head. That's right. That's right, Mrs. Megan. That is how we are living now, with our own pockets. That is the point of the self-help groups, because they're so powerfully changing women's lives and the decisions that women can make independently outside of, in a very patriarchal setting, relying on their husbands to make decisions about who gets what when. Often not decisions that are valuing women themselves. Okay, I want to thank you for showing up tonight. Honestly, what a great moment for me to be able to just to share with you. In June, what's coming is continued work. The school's going to have a few more things that need to be finished. The kids tomorrow, the 8th grade exam is tomorrow, so it's a big day at the school. The rest of the kids are out of school, but the 8th graders are still there. Bruce, I see you have a question, so I'm looking forward to hearing your question. Make sure you unmute yourself. There you go.
Fantastic presentation, Megan. Thank you. Thank you. I do have a question, but I just want to offer the praise and the blown awayness I feel with that mother's last quote, which is just so beautiful and very moving. My question goes back to the moment when you were talking about students who are being sponsored, and I'm wondering, what is the process for their selection?
Oh, what a great question. So we independently do not select anyone for our programs outside of discussions with the women's WISA, women and children and youth officers in the community. So they're in charge of keeping a list of families struggling, families suffering, mothers who've lost children in childbirth, women whose husbands have left, women who are living with a disability or have a child living with a disability. And so that selection is made through these official channels.
Mhm.
We don't do anything independently. I will tell you, Bruce, because I think this is so important, years ago, before we were an NGO with this official license that really set up official terms of operation, we were partnered with a church. And our early start was also beautiful and we were blossoming. And we also discovered that there were pastors' children on our student sponsorship list. And we discovered that when we separated from the church. So what I'm saying is that these checks and balances are really important. Not only do they check us, but these folks work in concert to make sure that the gifts that you've given, Bruce, Leo, Colleen, Gail, Nancy, all of us, right? Myself, that we're doing what we promise we do.
Yeah.
So when we do 8th grade tutoring, guess who shows up? The Department of Education shows up at every single school unannounced on one of the Saturdays to confirm that tutoring is actually going on, that the thing we have said we're going to do is done, and it has to be done with quality. So does it work perfectly all the time? Probably not. I mean, I guess women from the office could, nominate, tell us like, here's a child in great need. But I don't hear about that happening. The other thing is that it keeps us from directing sponsorships like on a case-by-case basis. Oh, this student is very, very smart. We should have this student in our program so that they can be one of our success stories. So we don't have those kinds of, we don't have a checklist like that. We do have some very bright kids. I wrote a story about a young man who recounted feeling very, very hungry and worrying that he would have to stay home and work. And he is now in what's called like it's a special school for the highest achieving kids. He went to the very special high school. But surely we didn't know that about him when we first met him. That was not part of our assessment tool.
Right.
Thank you for asking that. That's a great question.
Oh, it's great to hear the answer as well, to understand how it's being handled. Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Other questions? Well,
I'm sorry, could I ask a question?
Oh, yes.
Sorry.
Oh,
I'm
Shelley.
Shelly.
I
Hi.
did not see you here. Oh, because
I was here and then I had to pick up my kid from tennis and now I'm back.
Oh, Shelley, I'm so glad to see you.
You too. Truly, I just want to express gratitude to you and what you've done. We adopted our son from Ethiopia 15 years ago and we're going back for the first time this summer. So big trip. But we have just been so grateful to be able to support what you're doing.
Thank you.
My husband is a physician. I'm a teacher. We're actually from Wisconsin. I know. But
we have to talk because probably don't know this about me. My husband is a physician and I was a teacher.
Oh, funny. Okay.
Oh.
We live in Utah now, but both born and raised in Madison, went to the UW. But we're just so grateful to be able to support the kids and the country and have such faith and trust in everything you're doing. So selfishly, we're just so grateful for all of you and what you've done. Just truly feel just blessed to know this organization.
Thank you.
And just one quick question. I was just, as a teacher, I'm curious, for the kiddos who are in your Center for Disabilities, like how are they assessed? Like, or how are kids identified in, because there's a whole variety of special needs in the special needs category. I'm just curious how they're identified.
Yes. So that is such a good question. So we work through the school that's right next door to us it's where parents with children with special education needs register their kids to officially go to school. Okay. And they do the assessment and then send them to and we are focusing on intellectual disabilities. And this will be very interesting to you. In Ethiopia, when a school says, yes, we serve children with disabilities, it almost always means the same thing. Limb differences,
Okay.
hearing impairment, visual impairment, and some mobility impairment. It almost never includes children with intellectual disabilities.
Okay.
And if those kids are at that school, there's usually what I refer to, and I don't mean this unkindly, it's like a warehousing situation.
Mhm.
They're in the room, but they're not
Yep.
engaged in the learning. And they're also in quite a bit of, I would say, emotional and sometimes even physical danger from harassment,
Yep.
just not being seen in the way, because this is an environment I can say this in. Children with disabilities, particularly children with intellectual disabilities, they are considered cursed, as are their parents. So that is part of a belief system. It's being deconstructed in Ethiopia. There's definitely work in this area, but that work just cannot happen fast enough.
Yeah.
For these really beautiful children. And that is part of the vision of our country director, was opening the Center for Children with Disabilities. It is unique. There is no rural community that has anything like that. We hope it becomes a resource for the whole area where we work, for training of children, but also their families, because a lot of what's
Right.
happening here is also there is a trainer who's assigned to every family to make sure that support can happen at home as
Oh,
well.
good. Because parents are huge. They need support too.
So much
allowed.
support.
Yeah. Okay.
I also just want, because I love talking about the Center for Children with Disabilities, we have in place, we have water. The town gave us this piece of land, and it has water, which is super special. It's in Halaba, if you
Okay.
know the area. And we built a private shower room for children and their families.
Oh,
So we're still working on the child protection piece of that. That takes a little bit of time to sort out and make sure that it's absolutely diligent and working. But the reason it's so valuable is many of these kids don't ever, and their parents don't ever have more than a bucket bath
yeah.
at most, just
Yeah.
collecting rainwater and washing. So there's a real effort here of that helps teach hygiene practices, but also just allows the family that kind of dignity that comes with
Absolutely.
being able to take care of your personal needs,
Yep.
frankly.
Great.
I have a whole thing about bathrooms, but stay tuned for that. And be prepared, Shelley. You want to hear my most funny bathroom story?
Sure. I'm a kindergarten teacher. I love bathroom stories.
I was leaving a family visit, and I realized I better use a latrine, because there was a long drive back to where I was staying, but we were walking out kind of a long path, and I looked around and I said, could someone find me a latrine that I could use? Because I won't go in the bush. I just know that that's damaging to the environment. So I sort of make it my personal policy that I always use a latrine, which can be difficult to find one sometimes. Okay, but the people there were many people walking around me. They were all excited because somebody had just built a new one. I couldn't fit through the door of it. I'm too big. We laughed so hard. I'm your extra large American woman. I'm not going to pretend that I'm not. But the door was this thin. And I looked around, and of course, everybody's kind of horrified, but also laughing because I'm laughing. Turned out another neighbor had just redone those, and it was perfect and also beautiful. I couldn't believe he was so proud that my missed opportunity at one place became his opportunity. And that story got told 1,000 times over. But yes, so So latrines and places to take care of your own personal hygiene are a big piece of
Yeah.
um, a vision that we have around improving those places at schools. So
Great.
that's been something we've been working on. Right now, actually, a latrine is getting finished, and we just got a grant to start another one. So at another school. So that's actually been a big deal for us. Turns out a former CEO of Timex loved Ethiopia. She is not at Timex anymore. She's long retired, but she started a little funding, a grant opportunity for Ethiopian specific projects. And she loves the health and hygiene. So we have been able to take advantage of that. Now we're on our second round. So
great.
you know, I mean, who would have, why? You know, it's just a great little discovery, and we're doing something that's really important, and that is building latrines. So, Shelley, I'm really glad you said hi, because I wouldn't have known you were here. You're not on my top scroll. Probably there are other people here. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know how many people are in the room. Does anybody else have questions? You know, I have a million stories. I wish I could tell you them all. And I hope you have a sense for these when you get Friday photos and when you get your monthly e-news.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
these are places. Yeah, Bruce and I always have a nice little email exchange on the Friday photos. And also, Colleen also often sends me a note that she loved a Friday photo. So it's a really powerful part of our storytelling, just so you can see the place that we're working from and the beauty and the hardship. It's all of those things, for
How
sure.
often do you get out into the field?
Well, depending on the security situation and my family situation, I go at least once a year. And but the number of times I can start going is greater now that I do not have a high schooler. I am done with my full-time intensive I am home parenting. So I go once a year. I have two board members who are Ethiopian who also travel regularly to Ethiopia, and they do field work also. But I want to tell you that the reason we have all Ethiopian staff, no expats, and we're really committed to Ethiopians understanding local conditions and local needs and being able to respond to those. And I'm really proud of that model. Like when I'm there, I'm mostly like a token of, I'm like the token mother. That's how I am often referred to, the mother of the program. But mostly it's ceremonial. Like the real work is done right by the folks who live, marry, have children, bury their parents, go to those schools, speak their language. And I'm really proud of that part of Roots Ethiopia's, the anchor that we have set that's so intensely local. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions, comments? You guys are delightful. I'm so glad that you could join me. When I'm done with this call, I'm actually heading down the road about 20 miles to a local shoe shop that is donating 6 pairs of field shoes, sturdy, rainy season hikers that I'm driving one town over the other way to deliver to somebody who's taking them to our team in the field. They will be on feet next week.
Okay.
And I have a huge box of power banks that are going also for phones that don't hold batteries and laptops that don't hold batteries. And they can't, we cannot source quality product for some things. Like our field team could never find or afford, if they found them, a good hiking shoe. So we'll get like 7 pairs of Merrells, right? Just because the shoebox. Shelley, you probably know the shoebox. I'll be doing a little social post. So give a shout out to the shoebox. They do this for me about once every 4 years, and it's just,
That's awesome.
it's so generous. Just a little rural shoe outlet. But, you know, they also supply the UW basketball team and football team with the shoes. So
Yes, there was a little bit of a thing with that. once
there's a
upon
little
time.
bit of a thing, yeah. So
That's great.
thank you all for coming tonight. Nancy, it was really nice to see you. I saw that you had signed up, and Nancy runs her a nonprofit herself. Nancy, can you remind us who it is so that folks can take a look if they'd like to?
The organization that I work with is called Tembo,
Tembo.
TEMBO, and we do similar work to you, but in Tanzania.
Mm.
And it's wonderful to see the work that you're doing, Megan.
Thank you. Yes, it's nice. You know, there's good work everywhere. So it's really nice that Nancy was here. We can learn from each other from hosting my first virtual event. Should I do another one of these? I know I'll be reaching out and asking you guys. So yeah, Bruce says yes. Great. Great. Well, I really appreciate it. Everyone have a great night. Look for my social media post on the fabulous shoes that I'm picking up tonight. So it'll be fun. Good
Thank
night,
you so
everyone.
much. It was wonderful to hear you and hear your efforts. So thank you again.
Thank you, Bruce.
Right.
Good night.
Good night.